Good evening there, Internetville, denizens of the cyberwebs. How we doing? Welcome to the third edition of the Horrendous Anime Vlog, where I chronicle the development of the video game known as Horrendous Anime, coming soon to a Chromium tab near you. So, different-ish episode this time. The last two episodes are mostly about getting you caught up to speed on the, pretty long production cycle of this thing, and now this is all about the recent advancements of the week. So getting right into it. So first up, the combat system. It is now actually it's being built now. I finished the dialogue system. More on that later. I have a fun video about that. The combat system is now in production. So to catch you up, the combat system is tap-based. You tap your enemy to attack. You must tap them a certain amount of times in a certain amount of time in order to defeat them or move on to their next phase. And you can increase your chances by hitting, tapping on the beat or tapping on a certain beat. So that was the gameplay element I was trying to make, and I've been going through a number of different prototypes trying to, get it to work. And I've actually learned a lot from trying to create such a, such a simple sounding function as, after this many milliseconds, do this function. It seems like that would be super easy. But apparently there's a few things with, I don't know if it's JavaScript specifically or all programming languages where there's the obvious answer to do a timeline is to keep track of the milliseconds, like have some kind of function that's tracking milliseconds, and then if milliseconds equals this offset, fire the function. So that's what I was trying to do at first, but it became pretty apparent that even if I did do a interval of 1 millisecond, like, window.setInterval 1, just general background processes and, monitoring that, most importantly, monitoring that time, made it so that 2,000 milliseconds came out to about, 6 actual seconds. So, that was the first kind of quandary. That was kind of frustrating to me because I was sure that I could just say just do straight up milliseconds. We do this not because we thought it was easy. Hold on, how does that go? We do this not because it is easy, but because we thought it would be easy. Anyway, so. So if you can't count by 1 millisecond and track it and interact with it in a reliably, on-beat manner, how the heck are you supposed to, do time-based events? I wasn't about to just stop making the game because of one weird programming quirk. So I found a way around. Or I guess not a way around, but how you're supposed to do it, maybe? So, let's see here. There we go. Alright, so there is the game. Here we go. Yeah. So, I want to zoom in on a very specific spot. There we go. Alright, that thing right there. Alright, so I'm going to pop something into the console here that targets that object, and alright, so this looks super simple, but it actually took a little bit of what's this to get it to count at a certain interval on a callback function that could then execute other functions, but then stop once it reaches a certain count. So basically now I am measuring time in tempo and not in milliseconds, because the computer, it doesn't seem to do well, like the finer detail it gets, but you can kind of infer it from, you know, rougher estimates. So basically what this is doing is, instead of refreshing every 1 millisecond, calling handler functions, etc., you know, using CPU clock that, you know, tracks the milliseconds, instead we're setting an interval based on a tempo, a BPM. In this case, I think it's like 120 doing 16ths. So the combat system's timing functions are going to sort of go like this. Let's say that I want somebody to, you know, hit, say, you know, 3/16 notes on the 4th measure. There are now classes here, beats and bars, where I can get the millisecond amount to pass to that timeout for the callback, and still have what has come to be known as frames. Like, I'm starting to call them active frames. So the idea is, if, you know, frames 49 through something are active, then if you hit them in that window, then you get the bonus multiplier, the thing that helps you win the battle and makes a nice noise or a lighting effect. You know, the dopamine drip. But obviously, it's. I hope you can imagine it in your mind's eye as well as I can, because there's, like, it took so much to get this stupid thing to just count at a certain rate, and, you know, I guess just let this be a lesson. Like, with computers, you have to speak their language. Yeah, we programmed the computers based on our language, but they have their own thing. So yeah, there's the combat system as it is today. The next steps there are going to be, obviously, getting an indicator for when a frame is active. Of course, creating the handler function for, you know, what happens when you tap during an active frame. And that's as far ahead as I'm thinking right now, because I'm trying to not focus on the peak of the mountain, but on the ground in front of me. So yeah, there we go. This is the game as it is right now. As you can see, we can refresh, get the collectibles, have wonderful little conversations with people. It's a lot of fun. Yep. Yeah. Oh man, that is. I can't wait to get rid of those test sounds. That is horrifying. All right, so let's see here. Oh, what is next? Oh, right, yeah. So last episode, as sort of a cliffhanger, I mentioned that my backspace key is really close to my screenshot key. So I have this accidental archive of the game's early production, and I wanted to share that with you today in the Horrendous Anime Vlog. So let me go ahead and open that up. There we go. And here we go. Prepare to take a trip into the mind and space and time. This is probably going to be very embarrassing for me. Okay, so you won't really let me zoom in on anything, so I'll just have to describe it to you. So this is just like from a standard day, you know, just on the old computer, seeing images, hoping to extract some meaning from them. Yeah, not always successfully, but most of the time. So let's see, which one is this? Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is from when I was keeping every single data object in the game in the same file. So yeah, if you have any programming experience, you know that keeping everything in one gigantic object means that even if you're only looking at a couple objects, the system has to load everything. You know, it takes up memory and reduces performance, and frankly isn't scalable. Because if I were to have changed one of these objects, you know, properties, or if I wanted to add another property to that object, I would have to go through every single one of those objects and take out, or you know, I would have to edit every single object instance. Luckily, a programmer friend of mine who's farther along in his journey reminded me that classes exist, and this is exactly why people use them. Is because if you have some type of data set, you know, some kind of homogeneous data set type that is repeated over and over throughout your system, you know, if you suddenly find out that you need to add another data point to that object, you know, classes allow you to just add that to the class, you know, and set it up with a constructor. Whereas the method I was doing here did not have that luxury. I can kind of surprise myself with how dumb I can be sometimes. Excuse me. But even though that was a terrible data structure to work with, it did kind of get me used to working with objects. Because you know, this is more or less what the game looks like right now. Like, here we go. Like, where is it? Yeah, I can go up here, and it's you know, objects. Just, you know, now the objects are much more well designed, I would say, is the main thing. But this is where it started. This is where it started. Like, I can't talk shit about this because, you know, what I learned from making this and then failing to create the game itself was very valuable. Alright, so what the heck is this? Oh, a data. That first comment says everything. The house. It's a database of sorts. Well, hey, me in 2021, why not just use a database that you are already paying every month for hosting for? So this is kind of how it went. I think this was the second shot at it, because as you can see over on the right, there is, you know, it's some kind of, you know, parallel script that's querying that, you know, that database, or, you know, pseudo database, as it were. So yeah, that this is, you can sort of start to see how this game sort of, you know, it started off with like the right, you know, ideas, you know, move the data here, but the timing of it all, that was something I didn't foresee when I was just starting out on this project, is that the timing is very important, or the time and amount, the amount of data that you are using for each scene to tell your story. It's pretty important. If you can use just a little bit, then the device will run it exactly how you want it to. If you continue down the path I was going here, where I kept all the game's data in a single JavaScript object, yeah, might have a bad time. And this is another one that was this is just a candid shot from my life, you know. Like, that's those, like, you can sum up my inner dialogue with those two screens. Like, my right eye is watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, my left eye is watching Roller Coaster Tycoon. This is like the left and right side of my brain you're looking at right here. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? Okay, again, oh my god, I was really trying to make this single object database thing work. Oh my god. What messes me up is that, like, I read books about, I read some books about, like, how, like, memory management and assembly language, where the way the things store data is they have a memory address and then, like, a length of memory that it needs. So basically, I was creating a local database every time the game loaded. And if I'm looking at this screenshot right, there's actually deprecated code here that was, oh, let's see here. Yeah, again, just like, you know, trying to sculpt some data structure out of nothing. It's man, it's been a while. Oh wow, okay, so I think this is when something kind of clicked. So on the left, we have a JSON file somewhere on a database. And then we have the script on the right that's querying the database to, as you can see here, create environments, characters, audio, collectibles. And then when I saw all these functions that said, you know, create with the prefix, I was like, do you mean like a constructor? So those eventually became the classes that I'm using in the current build of the game, and it looks more like that. This was before we had the nice, nice colorful UI to look at, and it was all in the console. So as soon as that, like, a class that creates itself from a database call thing clicked, like, the game just started growing very fast. Like I ran into much fewer obstacles. Like I could go from narrative to execution pretty quick, as opposed to when I was storing my entire database in a single JavaScript file. One. I hope you have a lot of RAM. Wow. Okay, this is really a trip. Like looking back at this. All right, so there we go. So yeah, it's like, as you can see, it's still using kind of the same data structure that was in that single object database, but now it's actually like a proper database. If that is such a thing. Like, the game just loads what it needs, and it loads it based on what you tell it to load, I guess, to put it simply. Like, let's see, that's a dialogue. Okay, so yeah, like that top right bit of code there, that's like the scene data for the different layers. You have the background layer, the midground layer, the foreground layer, and its relevant data. Like, everything the computer needs to know to make things happen. So yeah, it's just all about trying to figure out how computers talk. And of course, no introduction or commentary necessary. Alright, when is this one? Okay, so this is a little bit after it started to catch a little bit. I'm trying to figure out why I included this screenshot in the presentation. Like, I made this slideshow like a week or two ago, and I don't exactly remember what I put in there, so it's kind of a surprise to me too. I don't know, I guess just like all right, yeah, sure. Like, I'd be looking at this screen for hours on end, going back and forth, doing tests and tests and tests. I wish there was another word for tests, because that STS thing at the end of tests, that's unnecessary tongue exercise. Tests. Exercise. No, tests is definitely worse. Tests is a terrible word. Trials? Yeah, that's kind of a negative connotation. How about, not trials, Man, I don't know. I'll find a thesaurus later and get back to you on another word for tests, but tests is a terrible, terrible word to say on the regular. Oh, man. Good movie. Ghost in the Shell. Gotta love that movie. Okay, I think that is it for the presentation there. Let's go ahead and come back to reality. Whoops, there goes gravity. And back to camera 1. Alright, so next up is a special surprise for you, the viewers, a little glimpse into the madness behind the curtain. So a way I keep myself motivated to do certain things is to kind of have a visible, visible progress meter. So what I've been doing is I've been putting pieces of tape on my dry erase board that are labeled with the major functions of the game that I have to complete, like dialogue, combat, cutscenes, props, what have you. And I put them up a couple months ago, and I have been able to take the first one off, and that is dialogue. Dialogue has come off the whiteboard, and I want to go ahead and share the experience of watching the video with you, the viewer. One moment, please, while I fetch my cell phone, which is... Play it, baby. Alright. Hold on, let's see here. Okay, there we go. Okay, alright. Alright, here we go. Alright, ready, set, and go. Oh, what are you doing with that tape, my friend? Oh, did you finish the dialogue system? You did finish the dialogue system. I bet the tactile sensation of pulling that tape off that dry erase board after 2 months of work feels pretty good. Yep. Oh, next up, combat. Oh. Progress. Slow motion, better than no motion. Author unknown. Alright, so let's see. That's it for this episode of Horrendous Anime Vlog. Please come back next time where there will be more things, and if you're still watching this video, congratulations. The rare stock. So, just go ahead and like and comment and subscribe. And like, or don't like. I mean, just go talk mad garbage about this show to your friends, your family, people you don't even like. I mean, I will do anything for attention. So that's it for this episode of Horrendous Anime Vlog. I will catch you all next time.